name's Grace Sorrells. I am a junior English and creative writing major, and I'm honored to introduce you to tonight's reader, Carey Blankenship-Kramer. She is one of our department's alumni, having graduated from Berry College in 2016 with a dual degree in English and creative writing. After leaving our campus, she wanted to earn her master's in writing and digital communications from Agnes Scott College in Atlanta. Despite the time passed since she left our campus, the work she completed at Berry, such as additions and ramifications during her time as editor-in-chief, I still remember fondly as I used her work in publications to inspire my own as I work in the current era of ramifications. She has gone on to use her experience here at Berry to better the world of publishing and literature in a highly admirable way. As following her academic career, she became a literary agent with a focus on publishing fictional works authored by and centered on those in marginalized communities. She also became a published author herself, with her vibrant love of storytelling and everything spooky coming into all of her work. Her short story, Tell the Soil a Secret, was published by Ember, a journal of luminous things, in April of this year. Scholastic published her debut novel, Ghost Scouts Honor, a wonderful kidlit story featuring a neurodivergent girl, Evie, and her story of friendship struggles and ghost adventures that tell kids and remind us adults that defiance holds power. I will now take a step back and let her take the pulpit so you may all hear and enjoy her work as much as everyone in her department does. Please welcome Carey Blankenship-Kramer.
Thank you. I love that intro. You did a great job. And good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. This is a big full circle moment for me. Once being in your space and sitting here and watching other authors, and now here I am reading to you. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to read the first 4 chapters, I think, of my book, but let me just get a timer set up so I don't go into our Q&A time. I would hate to do that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start off with the first 4 chapters of my book, Ghost Scouts Honor. You can buy a copy back there, and I can sign it for you, or you can buy it wherever books are sold. So let's get started. There's a ghost in the school auditorium. The dark purple shape of a woman paces back and forth, shredded clothes and long, wispy hair rippling underneath the swirling mist. Her strangled, high-pitched growl is so annoying. I can barely hear my own thoughts. Her ribs poke out of her skin, an eyeball dangles on her cheek, and her jaw remains wide open, forever in shock. I've seen ghosts before. Every kid in Savannah has. Practically every building in the city is crawling with ghosts. But the spirits are always so freaky. Just like when a cockroach scampers across my floor and disappears underneath a piece of furniture. No matter how many times it happens, I always scream. The ghost lunges again and again at the ghost cage, protecting us from her. Stretched too tight skin sizzles where she keeps hitting the glowing purple bars. Protruding veins are clearly bulging out of her skin, even though I'm sitting way in the back row. The entire school perches on the incredibly uncomfortable wooden folding chairs that face the large stage, billowing red curtains, and the ghost. Apparently, this is safe. The ghost isn't going anywhere, thanks to those electrified bars, but that's according to Laura, who I've learned not to trust. Ugh, Laura. I guess I should have known she'd be leading this presentation. She is the president of the Ghost Scouts. I haven't seen her since the day she tossed me to the side, like this ghost is clearly done with her dignity. It's hard to believe that that angry, rotten thing was once a real person. The Ghost Scouts are an important part of the community in Savannah, Georgia, Laura says, over the ghost screams. As everyone here knows, once you turn 16, your ghost vision fades. That's why it's up to us kids across the globe to make sure the ghosts stay in line. Without us, everyone would live in fear, waiting for the next attack from the dead. Thanks for listening to me today. As your town's Ghost Scouts president, I'll do anything I can to keep Savannah safe with your help. Principal Julie comes onto the stage. Laura moves her so she's not within grabbing distance of the ghost, putting herself between them. If the ghost was loud before, now she's ravenous. She's fixed her dark black eyes on Laura, leaning as close to the bars as she can. Thank you for that insightful presentation, Laura. I really appreciate you going through all the trouble to bring an active ghost for us. I know it must have been challenging to move her from her home. Principal Julie takes a step back, accidentally putting herself closer to the ghost. The dead lady lashes out, her skinny arm moving so fast it's a blur, even as the purple bar slices into her rotten skin and makes it cry. "Watch out!" Laura shouts as a ghost jagged yellow nails come close, scratching Principal Julie's striped pantsuit. Giggles grow up around me. Someone screams. They wish so badly that he wasn't in the stuffy room. I know Principal Julie can't see the ghost, but she should, to know, stay as far away as possible. If that ghost had a good grip on her, it would be hard to make her let go. The powerful goop from the ghost body would have coated Principal Julie, freezing her up like a giant iceberg until someone could get the right tools to thaw her out. That might make this afternoon way more interesting, though. Principal Julie continues, "Regardless of how you feel about the ghosts, we can all agree that it's thanks to the children in Savannah that we can live somewhat peacefully with them. To those who routinely walk the streets at night to spot wandering ghosts, and those who babysit haunted houses so their owners can take a break, we appreciate you." People stir in the crowd, whispering to one another. No doubt they're talking about the recent ghost right activist protests. It was all the news headlines could talk about for a week. While we were watching, Dad said, it ain't the start of Halloween in Savannah unless the church begins to protest to save the souls of the dead. Unfortunately, there has been a decrease in volunteers this year. To help the Scouts out, I'm requiring that anyone competing for the Blanchard Middle School Student of the Year Award spend their voluntary hours with the Ghost Scouts. My stomach sinks all the way to my feet. I bite my lip to keep from crying out. That Student of the Year Award for 7th grade is supposed to be mine. I spent all school year playing to get it, but now Principal Julie has thrown a wrench in my plans. The biggest wrench in the history of wrenches. The Scouts have been in the Dolores family for a long time. Her cousin was the president before her, an aunt before them, her mom before them, which means I have to work with my ex-best friend. I never really cared about this award, not before Laura stopped being my friend. I mean, I was excited for her when she won the 7th grade one last year. She had been so happy, but in my opinion, it was way too much work for not a lot of reward. Like you just get a dinky trophy and your name on a plaque that hangs in the front hallway. Now, this award is all I care about. It's the only thing that takes the focus off of pain of Laura's absence, like a black hole eating every molecule inside of me. If I got that same award she got last year, then I can prove she's not that special. Who's excited? Principal Julie asks. I'm the opposite of excited. I'm unexcited. What's a good word for that? Dreading, angry, discouraged, all of the above. But suddenly Matilda stands. Her bright pink cardigan is like a highlighter in this auditorium. Her arm raises toward the ceiling like her life depends on it, sunny yellow nails glowing against her brown skin. Everyone turns, looking at her. I'm getting itchy. If I looked at my arm right now, there would be a highlight or two. I'll be volunteering, Principal Julie, she cheers. Wonderful, Matilda. Thank you for showing so much enthusiasm. Of course, she's volunteering. Frustration boils inside of me, my brain moving a mile a minute. Matilda is basically my only competition in the 7th grade. She can't win the Student of the Year award. I have to. Before I know what I'm doing, I leap to my feet, arms shooting toward the ceiling. I'll also be volunteering. The voice that explodes out of me sounds too loud, too desperate. My cheeks are already on fire before everyone turns to look at me. My eyes lock on Laura's, her green ones studying mine. She does not look happy at all. To be fair, neither am I. I said I would never speak to her again. But Principal Julie claps yet again. Wonderful, Evie. How exciting. I immediately sit down, trying to hide my face from Matilda and Laura, but I feel it deep in my bones. They're both glaring at me. If anyone else is interested in volunteering, there's a sign-up board right behind the auditorium. I also want to take a moment to thank Laura Stanley, the Clarks, for their recent and extremely generous donation to the school. Thanks to them, we can now update all our computer labs. Principal Julie releases us, and the students walk out in groups, laughing and giggling as they go back to class. I remain rooted in my seat, kids climbing over me to get out, but I don't care. My hand grips the armrest so hard, I feel a twinge of pain in my fingers. But I have to do this. I have to pull through with what I've been promised. After everyone's left, I will stand up and I will go sign my name. I will win the Student of the Year award for 7th grade. Chapter 2. Dad bends over the stove, the smell of warm pumpkin and butter slapping me in the face as I walk in the front door. Since he's a chef, dinner is a delicious surprise every night. I can't wait to see what he put together tonight. Maybe then I'll forget about this whole Ghost Scout mess. When I close the door behind me, Dad turns around, his big grin halfway hidden by a fluffy gray beard. But he whips back to the stove so fast I don't even have a chance to return his smile. His hand reaches up and rubs his eyes. With a sinking heart, I remember Mom and Dad had therapy today. I swallow, trying to get rid of my dry throat. My parents go to therapy every couple of weeks, unless a big fight pops up. Then they like to go what they call emergency sessions. They're trying to work on their communication and attachment styles. So far, it's worked. There's been a lot less fighting, a lot more smiling and kissing. I go to therapy too, once a week, but not because of fighting. It's to help with my ADHD, anxiety, and anger. Hey honey, how was school today? Dad sniffles as he stirs. I'm itching to run up and hug Dad, but I don't want to embarrass him or call attention to the fact that he must have been crying. So I'll play it cool instead. I tuck my book bag on the Hook Mom label with my name in curly pink letters. Dad and Mom have their own books too. So does Baxter, the best dog in the world. Oh, I never got to tell you, I ran my fastest track mile yesterday, 8 minutes and 5 seconds. Dad has a list of all my mile times. I saw him scribbling in a fancy little notebook once during the race. And when I asked him about it, he showed me pages and pages of times. He'll be sure to write this time in big red letters, circle it, and highlight it yellow. Dad gasps, dang girl, and you still have more than half the school year ahead of you. At this point, you'll be able to outrun Baxter. I laugh. Baxter's huge, Dad. I'll never be able to outrun him. I reach to steal a piece of fresh pumpkin bread, but Dad flicks the back of my hand. You can have some after you tell me more about your day today. I sigh, distracted by the steam floating around the loaf like a halo. Fine. Remember that award I'm trying to get for Student of the Year? Nerves pinch at my belly as I get ready to tell Dad about this huge plot twist in my life. I didn't realize I was scared to tell him or Mom, but I know how they'll react. They're going to be so excited it'll be embarrassing. They'll probably want to do what most parents do when their kids sign up for the Girl Scouts, throw a party. Yeah, of course, it's all you talk about. Sometimes I worry you're a robot with how much you study. Well, the Girl Scouts were there at least simply. Apparently, to qualify for the award, you have to sign up. Something about not having enough volunteers this year. I snatch up a piece of bread since I've told him everything I needed to. The warm pumpkin deliciousness melts on my tongue, warms my belly. I could sleep in this bread if Dad would make one big enough to curl into. But maybe then I wouldn't have any problems. Dad drops the spoon, turning to look at me with a big, groovy gun. Go Scouts! That's amazing, Evie! My little girl is going to help the city of Savannah. My cheeks burn, but thankfully Mom and Baxter burst through the door. He lurches so hard in the leash that Mom has to let go. He charges right to my side, unrolling outside of his big brown mouth. Mom likes to call Baxter part pit bull, part lab, all mess. I barely have time to put down the slice of pumpkin bread before he covers my arm and face in wet kisses. There's our star daughter, the best one of our kids, Mom sings as she unwraps her scarf from her short baby blonde hair. While I got Dad's short and thick body, I got Mom's hair and green eyes. Mom, I'm your only kid. Doesn't change the fact. I inspect her as she steps closer, joining Baxter in the kissing. Her red rimmed eyes match Dad's. Her quick hands pluck the rest of the pumpkin bread from the counter where I left it. I don't even protest because I know how difficult their afternoon has been. If Mom wants a bite of my bread, she deserves it. Dad focuses on me. I never volunteered for Scouts. I don't think your mom did either. To be honest, I was always a little scared. But you'd never called us in the middle of the night from having woken up from a nightmare. If anyone in his family can corral those ghosts, it's you. I'm so proud of you. He crawls up my neck and warms my cheeks. The majority of the city and the people who live here love the Ghost Scouts. We have a parade every summer to honor the work they do. The Scouts are everywhere, and they kind of have to be. Oh my goodness, Evie with the Ghost Scouts. Does that mean you'll get to wear those cute uniforms? I can't wait to take so many photos, Mom says with a big smile, teeth coated in pumpkin bread. I giggle. Ooh, we should throw a party. I've always wanted to get those cute little purple plates and banners they carry in the Ghost Scout section in Party City. I shake my head so hard I'm pretty sure I'll have a headache later. This is exactly what I was worried about. No, absolutely not. No party. Mom pouts. Come on, Evie, please. Dad looks at me with his eyebrows raised. You know she won't give up until you say yes. Okay, you can buy a few directions and Dad can make a cake, but that's it. No inviting anyone else. You hear me, young lady. I waggle my finger at my mom. She still pouts, but she nods. Fine, but I don't know how I raised such a party pooper. My phone vibrates in my pocket. I'm expecting a text from the library that a book is ready for pickup, but it's Laura's name on my phone. It's still surrounded by laughing emojis. My finger hovered over the block button by her number every night this summer. I mean, what kind of person says they want to stop being friends out of the blue for no good reason? A person who deserves to be blocked, that's who. Still, I could never make myself press it. A lump lodges in my throat. There are 8 other numbers I don't recognize in this group. Are these all people competing for the Student of the Year award? One of them has to be Matilda. Thanks to those who signed up to volunteer. Please meet me at the track after the last bell tomorrow. I'll take everyone to the Scouts headquarters and pair folks off into groups so y'all can get started. My heart pounds in my chest, and the pumpkin bread I ate feels like a brick in my belly. The last time Laura texted me was months ago, right before everything went down. God, this sucks. All of this sucks. Especially the fact that we have to work in groups. Ugh, group work. I hate that phrase so much. People only get hurt when they rely on others, and I'm never going to go back to the way I felt that horrible, horrible night when Laura stopped being my best friend. Chapter 3. Daisy, my therapist, smiles at me through the computer screen. Hiba, a tiny chihuahua, sleeps behind her in a bed at least 4 times her size. Davy waves at me. There's my girl. How's it going today, Miss Edie? Good. I love my therapist, I really do, but I still get nervous before we speak. I grabbed a squishy ball before I sat down, one that was cool to the touch and tough enough to squeeze hard without it pumping and making a mess. I grip it tight in my right hand, watching as a rainbow blob squeezes out from between my fingers. Do you have your captions on? Remember when we talked about how reading what I say can help you focus with your ADHD? I nod and click CC on the video chat. Got it? Evie, got it. The voice inside my head is far too loud sometimes. It screams and shouts during all parts of the day, like little bursts of fireworks exploding behind my eyes. I like the color of her shirt. Did I forget to do any of my homework? Remember that time in class when you raised your hand so fast but you got to cross your mom in front of everybody? That voice makes it hard sometimes to speak with folks. I know I'm supposed to be listening, but my ears and eyes won't focus. The words fly by me like little gnats, and before I know it, the person has stopped talking and I don't know a thing they uttered. So when I agree with someone saying as they're saying it, it makes it much easier. If only everyone had captions constantly scrolling below them whenever they talked. Daisy, tell me more about your day. You said it was good. Was it really? Evie, not really. Daisy, oh no, I'm so sorry. What happened? Evie, you know that award I'm trying to get at school? Daisy, yes, student of the year. And I've been working really hard and focusing on that. And I know we've talked about how your parents are worried you spend too much time focusing on that and not just enjoying life. Evie, yeah, well, our principal announced today that we have to volunteer with the Girl Scouts to qualify, so I'm going to have to focus even harder now. Daisy, oh, I see. So that's a big shift in your plans, isn't it? It must have really made you upset. Evie, it gets worse. Daisy, oh no, seriously? Tell me. Evie, so Laura basically runs the Girl Scouts. She's the president. Daisy, oh no, Evie, that has to be so stressful for you. I haven't really sat with the fact that I'm going to be seeing and speaking with Laura again. Even though the fan is on, sweat pools on my palms. Daisy, take a deep breath. I can see you're getting a bit teary-eyed, and I want you to know that's totally normal. It's always hard when your plans change like that, and now you have to work with someone who really hurt you. Laura, every time I volunteer. Laura, every time I work as a Ghost Scout. Laura, always there. But this time, without the laughing and the adventures and the secret sharing, this time there will be cold shoulders and glitters and avoiding eye contact. Daisy, we're gonna figure it out, okay? Evie, okay. Daisy, so let's start with how you're feeling. Do you think you could explain it to me? Evie, I feel frustrated. Daisy, good, that's totally normal. Want to tell me why? Evie, this year might be really hard with classes and now I have to volunteer on top of that. Daisy, right, so you're also feeling stressed. Evie, yes. Matilda is volunteering too. Daisy, Matilda, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think you two would get along if you just gave her a chance. Maybe this will finally give you the opportunity to spend some time with her. Evie, yeah, I don't know about that. Daisy, do you want to talk about it? Not really. I know exactly what Daisy's going to say. Matilda might actually be a wonderful friend if you just talk to her, but how could I do anything but compare myself to Matilda who's getting better grades than me and laughing with her perfect friends? Daisy, remember what we talked about before? It can be really, really easy to get caught up in our emotions and say things we shouldn't. I know we're working on what you say when you're angry, right? I shrug. You don't have to explain to her how many times I've been grounded or sent to my room because I got annoyed and snapped at my parents. She already knows. Daisy, anger is one of the toughest emotions. It totally takes us over, making it easy to forget all the things we talk about here during our sessions. But anger usually comes from another source, like embarrassment or guilt. Maybe you could try asking her if she wants to hang out outside of school or Girl Scouts. Evie, I hate this. The computer alerts me it's silencing my background noise, which means I yelled so loud I freaked out the mic on my laptop. Daisy, I totally understand, Evie. Unfortunately, life makes plans change all the time. I know that can be really frustrating and so scary sometimes. Heck, even I get frustrated and stressed when my plans change, and when I have to work with people I don't like. But it's important that you don't freeze up or focus on that. We want you to be your happy, productive self as much as possible. So maybe we can look at this as a new opportunity, an exciting one with new goals to accomplish and new people to meet. There's a knot of frustration in my belly right now. I can't bring myself to agree, though a part of me knows I should. Daisy says sometimes when we talk, it's uncomfortable because we're identifying unhealthy habits and rebuilding new ones. Fancy talk for taking away things I like to do to make myself feel better, because in the long run, maybe they aren't the best for me. Part of me wants to give up, but just hand over the award to Matilda and pretend like it never mattered, that I proved to Laura I'm just fine without her. Maybe Daisy's saying it's not a good thing to just sulk and let my negativity beat everything else out in my life. But that means working with Laura when I spent all summer figuring out how to do life without her. I squeezed the rainbow ball in my fist so hard the whole thing almost popped right out of my hand. Daisy, I'm glad you're playing with your fidget. That looks really fun to squish. You think it's helping you focus? Evie, yes. Daisy, great. I'm so proud of you, Evie. Now, let's talk more about what you're going to do next. That's about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carey. So I have the microphone, but I'm happy to bring it to you if you all have questions for Carey. Raise your hand, and I will come your way.
Was it difficult for you to capture like the emotion and the thought process of a 7th grade girl?
Yes. It was. I just tried to channel how I was when I was back then, and it was pretty angry and emotional. I won't capture every single 7th grader's experience, but for me it was really important to remember writing books for these kids that don't necessarily have the tools yet to emotionally handle things. So showing them someone that looks like them helps them have that blueprint. But it was very difficult, yes.
There's a lot of research for you to do like psychological stuff, like how therapy sessions should go with a kid. Like, did it take a lot of research to be able to like appropriately do this for a children's book? Was it difficult, like the process of making sure, like, do you run it by like a psychologist or anything, or was it just like, I don't know, I feel like other people's lives and to like be responsible for putting that out for children?
Yeah, that's a great question. I fortunately had a lot of great people on my team, and my therapist at the time specialized in child psychology. So I got to talk a lot to her about the project and how kids react in her office. But again, the team at Scholastic was really great about providing edits and revisions, and I tried to like apply some of what I went through and still go through as an adult in therapy. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself like a child, so you know it worked out well. But yeah, that's a great question. There was a good amount of research, and it was intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So obviously choosing Savannah as a prime ghost location to have this as a setting. And I know you explained earlier in the Q&A at 9 you have little excerpts that are actual ghosts that exist in Savannah. How did you enjoy, or what was your process of researching the history and ghost side of Savannah, Georgia?
Yeah, I got to go on ghost tours, which was sick. Yeah, they have several really good ones in Savannah. And then after I went on them, I don't remember things super great sometimes. So somebody on YouTube has illegally recorded one of them, and I appreciate that person a lot because I watched it a few times. So yeah, there's like so many resources online of all the ghosts, and there's quite a few. So there's several that don't make it because I didn't have enough room, but some of my favorite ones are in there, yeah.
I guess kind of building off of that, why ghosts?
Like, I mean, obviously they're cool, but what specifically
Part of my reason for why ghosts is not makes them cool. I love them. I think they're fun, like you said. I love horror, and I've loved horror since I was a little girl. Grew up watching ghost shows with my father. So I think they're really cool. I love horror as a genre in particular because I think it's a really interesting, unique lens into human psychology and what we're able to endure and come out on the better side of. In most horrors, sometimes everyone dies, which isn't as fun, but I really like, especially for middle school, that horror is a really great place to explore some of these darker and deeper subjects in a way that feels more tangible, because kids love goosebumps. They love those kinds of things and love being scared, and it's much easier to package up a lesson without feeling like you're preaching to them, because a lot of kids do worry about death, and I think a lot of adults do a disservice by not talking to them about it as much, and that's where literature can come in to introduce those ideas. So I had a lot of fun with it, yeah.
Hi, so as someone who also wants to write like children's literature, where do you say, okay, that's too much for a kid? Like, how do you know where that line is where you're like, oh, they shouldn't read that, or like, that might be too much?
That answer depends on who buys your book. So some places you can get away with more. Disney buys your book, you're not going to get away with a lot. And I think that line of what kids can and can't handle is getting pushed further away as the more they have to experience, the more they grow up faster with access to like phones and the internet. It's hard for me to be like, no, you can never talk about this, because some kids do deal with that. There are harder subjects to still if they're like heavier. So like, there's someone I talked to recently that really wants to write a book about having alcohol like parents, and that's like a heavier subject. It would be a harder sell, but it's still really important, and kids can deal with that because they do in real life. So it's like you ask yourself the question, what can a kid handle? And the answer is everything, because sometimes they have to. But it's more of like, how can we package it up in a way that feels more accessible without, again, preaching to them. So that's the difficult part.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm thinking.
I'm going to ask, what are the best parts of being an author and being an agent, and what are the worst parts of being an author and being an agent?
Yeah, the best parts of being an agent is working with other authors and getting to be with them and help champion their stories. It's really special. I think one of the best memories I have is calling one of my authors to tell them I sold their book. Worst part is telling them we didn't sell their book, or if there's like a particularly negative rejection, it can be really tough. That part takes a toll on me mentally for sure. But as for being an author, my favorite part of the process is like the brainstorming when the idea is very brand new and fun and exciting. And then the worst part comes right after, which is the first draft. I hate that part a lot. So
Do you have revision more than the first draft?
yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Revision is a lot more fun. Hey.
Also on the topic of being an agent, what qualities would you say that you would look for in an author or an author's writing that you use to like judge whether or not you can work with them? Because I don't know, I sometimes worry that like I might have better trouble finding an agent just because a lot of the types of stories I want to tell or genres I want to work in aren't really my thing. So like, what sorts of criteria do they use?
Yeah, it really depends upon the agent. I think I explained today a couple of times that I do love a weird little book, and some agents do too. So there are some agents that really want the popular stuff and try to sell that because that's where some of the money is. But for me, what I look for in a story is either like if it reminds me why I'm human, or connects me to the human experience a little more, or makes me sob, is probably a good indicator I'm going to want to work with it. But as far as like quality or like looking for specific genres, I think any agent has a particular taste. For example, like I don't really represent historical fiction or nonfiction. I'm sorry, Clint, but I don't work with that. But lots and lots of agents do. So it's just about finding the right fit for you. I don't think there's a lot of folks that love like sci-fi is a harder sell, but lots of people still love it and pick it up. So yeah, I think it's just about doing research and picking what's important to you and not writing for trends, because that would be very fun.
Why do you hate nonfiction?
Who is lying? I don't hate nonfiction. I'm reading my second one. I've told you. I'm reading it right now. I don't. I think it's really great for growing as an individual to read nonfiction. Yeah.
Can you tell us about your first career opportunity in publishing after graduation and what like realistic expectations soon-to-be alum should have about that career field?
Yeah. Did you ask how I got into publishing after college? Was that what the question was?
Your first.
Career opportunity. Your first career opportunity in publishing.
Oh gosh. I feel like ramifications counts. I was an editor-in-chief, excuse me.
Shout out to application submissions sent until October 14th.
Yes. So that gave me like really good experience for reading slush pile and like dealing with that parts of publication. I believe the first after that was being an intern for a small print called Zinc Publishing, and read a lot of adult and read the slush pile and said, hey, this is worth checking out to the editors there, and passed some ones that weren't quite ready. So there's a ton of opportunities online to get those internships. The bigger, like Big 5 publishing houses have a little more competition, but there's a ton of smaller imprints that will give you the same experience. You just have to do a lot of research and a lot of applying. I think Publishing Jobs has a lot of them on there. You can get one, it just might take a little while, so don't get discouraged. Just keep knocking on doors until someone will open one for you eventually.
How many doors do you think you had to knock on if you had a ballpark?
A lot. My rejection for just querying was 390. But like being an intern, that limit I don't think exists. Yeah, I like emailed at least like 25 agencies before I got my first role. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Other questions? Are there any other questions?
Is this the question?
The question.
What are your thoughts on Beyonce?
On Beyonce? I love her. Has there been other answers besides this?
So just so everyone knows, since 2017, Jericho Brown, every single Disney writer has been asked the same question. The question has been handed down a lineage of sorts.
That's not what I thought I was going to be, I'm not going to lie to you. I love Beyonce. She's great. She's an icon. She's incredible. Does that make you happy? You look like you're disappointed. Okay. Okay.
I think that's it. Can we please get